another CompTIA Network Plus exam prep video. Today we're going to go over a few practice questions that I found online to help you guys prepare for the Network Plus exam. If you guys are enjoying this content, leave a like, subscribe, click that notification bell. I plan to release around 20 more of these videos just to make sure you guys are ready. Also, I am in the process of creating an online course for the CompTIA A+, the CompTIA Network Plus, the Security Plus, and a bunch of other industry-leading IT certifications that I have in order to prepare you guys to earn certifications and start a career in IT. All right, I'm not going to hold you guys for too much longer. Let's go ahead and hop into some of these questions. First question is, a network administrator is notified that a user cannot access resources on the network. The network administrator checks the physical connection to the workstation labeled user 3 and sees the Ethernet is properly connected. However, the network interface's indicator lights are not blinking on either the computer or the switch. Which of the following is the most likely cause? All right, so we got a network admin. A user contacted them, let them know that they are unable to connect to the network. The network admin first investigates to make sure that the Ethernet cable is properly connected to the computer and to the network interface, but he doesn't see any lights on the computer or the switch. All right, we take a look at this. All right, answer choice A, the switch failed. If the switch failed, then all users would have issues connecting to the network. The default gateway is wrong. This could be a possible issue, but I believe the issue lies with the network interface and the fact that none of the indicator lights are blinking to show connection or that there is a outage in connection. Answer choice C is the port is shut down. This is a good answer choice. And answer choice D, the VLAN assignment is incorrect. Again, this could be correct, but it seems like they want us to focus on the network interface indicator lights are not blinking on the computer or the switch. And because the computer is on, we have to assume that this problem has to do with the switch. And so the most common sense and basic answer is that the port is shut down. Because even when there's an outage, if you go take a look at your home router, even whenever you don't have internet service at your home, you would see that the router is still blinking to show that there is a network connectivity issue. Moving on to the second question. An administrator is setting up an SNMP server for use in the enterprise network and needs to create device IDs within a MIB. Which of the following describes the function of a MIB? Okay, taking a look at this question. Looks like we have a administrator that is setting up a simple network management protocol server. And he's using a MIB, which is a management information base, to create some device IDs, what describes the function of. So an MIB is used to manage entities on a network, and it is used by a simple network management protocol server to translate events to a readable format, and that would allow administrators to monitor network devices and network events. So we take a look at these answer choices. Answer choice A, a DHCP relay device. That's dynamic host configuration protocol. That has to do with assigning IP addresses. It's not related to what we're looking at here. Policy enforcement point, that's a security thing. It just manages access pretty much. It's not relevant to what we're talking about. And then answer choice C, definition file for event translation. Well, that sounds about right because we know that SNMP uses MIB to translate events. So this looks like a good answer choice. But we're going to check answer choice D, which is a network access controller, which is also a security device. It just pretty much restricts access to a network. Again, not related to the functions of MIB in a SNMP server. So I'm going to go with C here. Moving along, which of the following best explains the role of confidentiality with regard to data at rest? We know that based off our studies that confidentiality is a core principle, and it is achieved through encryption, access controls, and permissions. So we want to make sure that we're using those things with regard to data at rest. So looking at the answer choices here, A, data can be accessed by anyone on the administrative network. Its keyword in this one is accessed by anyone. That's not confidential. Data can be accessed remotely with proper training. Again, doesn't say anything about encryption or access controls or permissions whatsoever. Answer choice C is data can be accessed after privileged access is granted. That sounds confidential. Data can be accessed after verifying the hash. This could be tricky because hashes are associated with passwords. But hashes are also used to verify data. And if you're looking to verify if data is real or not, that falls in the realm of data integrity. And so based off of the answer choices I have, I'm gonna go with C. Data can be accessed by privilege. Data can be accessed after privileged access is granted. Moving right along, a network engineer performed a migration to a new mail server. The engineer changed the MX record, verified the change was accurate, and confirmed the new mail server was reachable via the IP address in the A record. However, users are not receiving email. Which of the following should the engineer have done to prevent this issue from occurring? So we take a look at the answer choices here. We have answer choice A, change the email client configuration to match the MX record. Email clients don't necessarily need to match the MX record or the mail exchange record because the access to the new mail server would be configured within its settings already. So in other words, the email client configuration doesn't necessarily need to match the mail exchange record. Answer choice B is reduce the TTL record prior to the MX record change. TTL stands for time to live. That seems like a good answer choice because it looks like the network engineer was able to access the mail server after the change, but users have not been able to access it yet. So it looks like the previous mail server is still living, and reducing that TTL would migrate all those users over to the new mail server. So I'm leaning towards B. Answer choice C is perform a DNS zone transfer prior to the MX record change. A DNS zone transfer is just not related to a new mail server. Answer choice D is update the NS record to reflect the IP address change. NS is name server, and it also has nothing to do with a new mail server migration. It does have something to do with DNS, so C and D have something to do with each other, but they have nothing to do with our network engineer performing this migration. So I'm gonna go answer choice B. If you reduce that time to live for the previous mail server, those users should be migrated faster. All right, moving on. Which of the following IP transmission types encrypts all of the transmitted data? All right, so we're looking for IP transmission types that encrypts transmitted data. All right, so first up, answer choice A is ESP, or encapsulating security payload. This is used to provide CIA, which is confidentiality, integrity, and authentication, and it encrypts payloads. Answer choice B is AH, or authentication header. This provides integrity and authentication, but it does not encrypt payloads. Answer choice C is GRE, or generic routing encapsulation. This is a tunneling protocol. It has no encryption whatsoever. Answer choice D, or user diagram protocol. This does have encryption, but only with the use of TLS and SSL, I believe. And I think that also goes for answer choice E, which is TCP, or transmission control protocol. Again, UDP and TCP, they do have encryption, but they only have encryption with the use of TLS or SSL. And so the only one that encrypts payloads is ESP, or encapsulating security payload. So I'm going with A. And we're moving right along. A network administrator notices interference with industrial equipment in the 2.4 gigahertz range. Which of the following technologies would most likely mitigate this issue? Select 2. All right, so we're looking for some mitigation to some network interferences near some industrial equipment. Answer choice A is a mesh network. Mesh networks provide some redundancy, but it doesn't necessarily mitigate the interference from the industrial equipment. Answer choice B is a 5 gigahertz frequency. This is less likely to have interference from industrial equipment. So that's a good answer. Answer choice C is an omnidirectional antenna. It sends signals in every direction, but it doesn't necessarily mitigate our industrial equipment issue that we're having. Answer choice D is non-overlapping channels. This is a good answer choice because using non-overlapping channels, this could mitigate the issue and provide some clear communication. Not having heavily trafficked channels. Answer choice E is a captive portal. A captive portal is pretty much that whenever you go to a hotel and you try to connect to the internet and that website pops up, you have to log in to add some credentials in order to gain access to the network. Doesn't really mitigate our issue. And answer choice F is a ad hoc network. This is a decentralized network. Again, just it doesn't really tackle the issue that we have with the question. I'm gonna go with answer choice B, which is known to have less interference with industrial equipment, and answer choice D, non-overlapping channels. Get rid of those highly trafficked network channels. All right, moving right along. Which of the following disaster recovery metrics is used to describe the amount of data that is lost since the last backup? All right, we have A, MTTR, which is mean time to repair. This is the average time it takes to repair a system. Answer choice B is RTO, which is recovery time objective, and this is the max time a system can be down before a company reaches that code red moment. We have RPO, which is recovery point objective. This is the amount of data lost measured in time. It's also the amount of data that must be recovered to resume normal operations for a business. And last, we have MTBF, which is answer choice D. This is the mean time between failures. It's the estimated time that a company gives a system or a piece of equipment before they expect it to break again. And so the only one of these answer choices that even mentions data is going to be RPO, which is our recovery point objective. That's a pretty easy one. Moving right along to our next question. Which of the following can support a jumbo frame? This is just something that you learn while studying about pieces of network equipment. We know that an access point, it just handles wireless communication. A bridge connects different network segments, and a hub, I think it just sends packets to ports. It definitely can't handle a jumbo frame, but while studying for your Network+, you'll see that a switch is used to handle jumbo frames. Alrighty, moving right along. Which of the following is created to illustrate the effectiveness of wireless network coverage in a building? So we're looking for an illustration for how well the wireless coverage is in a building. We have A logical diagram. This shows the connections and relationships between the pieces of equipment on the network. Answer choice B is a layer 3 network diagram. This just focuses on the IP addresses that are assigned, or the IP addresses that are on the network, pretty much. Answer choice C is a service level agreement, or a SLA. This is a contract between a provider and a customer. It just describes the expected service that is meant to be provided. In D, a heat map. This will show the wireless coverage in a building, which is what we're looking for. And so the best answer choice is answer choice D, a heat map. All right, next question. A user is unable to navigate to a website because the provided URL is not resolving to the correct IP address. This sounds like a DNS issue. Other users are able to navigate, definitely a DNS issue, to the intended website without issue. So it's an individual user having a DNS issue. Which of the following is most likely causing this issue? All right, so this is definitely an individual DNS issue. So let's keep that in mind as we go through our answer choices. Answer choice A is host file. A host file maps host names to IPs. Answer choice B is a self-signed certificate. This will have a security warning, but it won't stop the user from navigating to a specific website. Answer choice C, name server record. This would affect all users, and because this is only an individual user's DNS issue, the name server record is just it's too broad of an issue because it's only individual. And then we have answer choice D, which is the IP helper. IP helper is a DHCP, or dynamic host configuration protocol. It assigns IP addresses to computers on the network or devices on a network. So the only one that could cause issues with DNS would be a host file. If the IP is mapped to the wrong host name, this could lead to some navigation issues. So the best answer choice here would be A, host file. And I believe that is our last question. My plan is to do about 10 of these per video, and also to do some more performance-based questions from different practice exam questions that I find online, and performance-based questions just to get you guys ready to take the CompTIA Network Plus exam certification. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please leave a comment down below and I can get back to you individually. If you're having issues in any specific area, anything that'll help you remember certain things, any jingles or key terms. And I do plan on creating online courses for all of these IT certifications. Right now, I'm making content on the CompTIA Network Plus because I believe it is the hardest CompTIA certification to get out of the CompTIA trifecta. And I also have friends who want to start a career in IT, and the Network Plus is something that is on their degree plan. So I want to create this online course for them and for everyone looking to branch into IT as a career. Again, if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this video, if you found something in this video that that helped you out, then please leave a like, subscribe, and click that notification bell, because I'm going to try to get one of these videos out, either a few practice test questions or a performance-based question. I'm going to try to get one out at least once a week. Again, if you enjoyed this content, I really appreciate you staying the whole way through. If you subscribed, I really appreciate it. Remember to chase your dreams, embrace the journey, and see where it takes you. I'm rooting for you.